Welcome back, you guys. We're going to complete the few uh, paragraphs from chapter 1 that we left off, and we were running over, and I didn't want to extend the time. We're a little past 15 minutes. I was trying to stay within the 15-minute time frame. But yeah, just stick with me because we're going to be diving deep in these waters. So I hope you can swim. We're going to have some exciting information for you. So stay with me. I got you. Okay. Let me just back up a little bit so we can see where we were. The fact is that all life is based upon the interaction between the various electrical units of the universe. Science tells us about these activities in terms of matter, and no one understands them because they are spiritual entities and their realities can only be understood and used wisely by the spiritually developed man. Electricians do not know what electricity is, although they use it constantly. Wow. The Christian uses faith and gets marvelous results. The electrician uses electricity and also gets marvelous results. And neither of them knows the real nature of the agent he uses so freely. The man who called electricity faith doubtless thought that he was making a striking comparison when in fact he was telling a truth. That faith is of the mind, and it is the match that starts the fire in the electrons and protons of innate spirit forces. Faith has its degrees of voltage. The faith of the child and the faith of the most powerful spiritual adept are far apart in their intensity and results. When the trillions of cells in one's body are roused to expectancy by spiritual faith, a positive spiritual contact results and marvelous transformations take place. When Jesus asked his patients, "Believe ye that I am able to do this?" he was making such a contact. Also, when he told those to whom he ministered, "Thy faith has made you whole," he used the same law. When he turned water into wine and fed 5,000 by multiplying a few loaves and fishes, he performed in a masterly and beneficial way what our scientists made possible in a destructive way by releasing through the atomic bomb the pent-up forces of spirit. Pent-up forces, energy inside of our vessel. Scientists have invented a machine that records the forces of thought. Even though expressed by the mind, radiates an energy as it passes through the brain cells, and this machine measures the force of these radiations. Sir James Johns, the eminent British scientist, gives a prophecy of this in one of his books. He says, in substance, that it may be that the gods determining our fate are our own minds working on our brain cells and through them on the world about us. This will eventually be found to be true, and the discovery of the law of release of the electronic vitality wrapped up in matter will be the greatest revelation of all time. When we awake to the fact that every breath we draw is releasing this all-potent electronic energy, and it is shaping our lives for good or ill, according to our faith, then we shall begin to search for the law that will guide us aright in the use of power. People the world over were amazed and terrified when they read of the destruction wrought on the cities and people of Japan by 2 atomic bombs. But do we realize that millions of people are killed every year by atomic force? Doctors tell us that it is the toxin generated in our own bodies that kills us. What produces this destructive force, you might ask? Well, it must be our own minds, and the remedy must also be in a change in our minds. Paul expressed this when he said, "Be you transformed by the renewing of your mind." All persons who have dismissed the idea of miracle in the marvelous works of Jesus and his followers have looked forward to a time when the law they use would be explained. But nearly all expected it to come through spiritual means. But now science has opened up a kingdom having all the possibilities of the kingdom of heaven taught by Jesus. However, Jesus said this kingdom is within us and would be exercised constructively through our minds under divine law. The latest discovery of science shows that through the development of the atom, a power will be cast right into our midst that will, in its physical aspect, make the earth equal to our wildest dreams of heaven. Broadcasting stations sending out on the ether light, heat, power will be established the world over, and every householder will have receiving sets which he can turn on or off at will. The cost will be negligible. Lighter than air forms of building material will be discovered, and our dwellings will float in the air and be transported from place to place like airplanes. Even the climate of the whole planet may be transformed. Destructive forces no longer possible. The peace reign forever. Labor as we now have it will disappear. Production will become so easy that a man will in a week raise enough food to last him a whole year. Everybody will produce abundantly. Everybody will have everything he wants, and no one will slave for wages. Art, science, religion, music, and the finer things of life will be for all the people, and those who do not expand their minds to enjoy the finer things of life will be out of step with the times. Our men of science have found the key that unlocks the door to the physical realm in the kingdom of the heavens. But the spiritual domains are yet to be found, and their doors unlocked by the multitude. There must be a change of mind by the people of the earth before the tremendous uplift to be wrought by